Okay, let me recap maybe a question that I had from Rabiatu earlier on in an email. Rabiatu asked me whether some of the students in Burkina Faso, whether they could participate on their phone, whether they could compete on their phone if they didn't have a computer. That is possible. We'll need to test the new version of VIA. We'll be using the VIA classroom environment, and that is compatible with an app, a VIA app, which the students can download on their phone for free. We will give them the link, and they should be able to join us via that app, via that app. Okay, any more questions?
Okay, any more questions?
Okay, so Rabiatu said that was her first question. I think she's busy in the chat box typing a second question. Don't hesitate to type away in the chat box and raise questions if you'd like. Um, uh, for the moment, maybe participants are busy typing, but I can't see any question appear in the um, in the chat box. There's a comment from um, Jibril. Yes, you can download the confirmation from Jibril. And by the way, let me introduce Jibril to you. Jibril is the student coordinator on the Rennes side. Yes, one other thing I wanted to say about Jibril is he will be like the super coach. So he's going to be the coach of coaches. My 8 students will each have, sorry, the slide kept popping up. The other slide kept popping up. My students will each be given one team that they will pamper, and they'll look after one team specifically, keeping them posted on the events, helping them practice for their presentations online, um, stimulating them to answer some of the debate questions that we will have to offer, all sorts of things like that. So each coach will have one team, and the coaches will be in touch on a weekly basis. Um, so Jibril's job is actually to coach the coaches, and that is to make sure the coach have relevant material, to make sure that the coaches know how to coach your students, basically. As soon as I have all the student lists, I will post them and liaise with Jibril. Jibril will be in charge as well of putting the chart together for the teams to compete against one another. So as soon as I have, the list from um, such and such a country against whatever other country, the two lists will be up and posted, and the teams will be able to communicate in terms of what date suits them to hold the channel, the first phase of the challenge, sorry, the first round. Um, and Jibril will be in charge of doing the charts for the second round, third round, and then the final. He will also be in charge of the voting system. So the first vote we will be organizing is a vote to vote on the VEC logo. And we will ask your teams of students to suggest a logo. And so there'll be various choices, choice 1, 2, 3, etc. They'll all be posted on Padlet and numbered. And then there's going to be a ranking system on a vote system. So a link will be sent out to your students. They will be able to click on the voting system and decide what logo they prefer. This initial logo vote for the actual VEC challenge, as you've noticed, we don't have a logo yet, but we soon will have one because we already have a couple of logos to choose from, but I expect that other teams will want to put a logo forward, and there'll be more than 2 or 3 to choose from. And then once we've initiated that vote, I think that will not only enable us to have a proper logo for this competition, but it will initiate the collaboration, the comments, yeah, the communication between the teams, and and then we'll get into the details of launching debate questions and preparing for the first round of the tournament, etc. Okay, that's me doing a lot of talking. Are there any more questions before we simply post all the material that we have on our Padlet, and then we'll send you the links of these recordings? Rabiotu's comment is, I got an answer. Second question was about the characteristics of the logo we should post on the Padlet. Okay. We'll give you examples of that logo. The first logo you will need to post is one for the VEC challenge itself. So I should have prepared that first example to show you, but I don't want to influence you in terms of your preference or your choice. I don't want you to know which logo is mine, basically, but I've prepared one. But I'm sure the students will prepare other logos, and it's good practice for them to prepare a first logo for the challenge as a whole, because as Spencer said, later on when they devise their poster, when they prepare the material, they will be creating a logo for their project. So it won't be a VEC logo. It's going to be, whatever the name of their project is. It's going to be a logo related to their project. And yes, we do want to give them a little bit of practice in doing that. Give them a bit of practice as well using the automatic tools that you have online to create logos. Okay, so thank you for your question, Rabiatu. That's a very good question. Are there any other questions in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and I'll give you the mic if you want to raise another question. No more questions? If you don't have any more questions, can you confirm in the chat box that you don't have any more questions and just write no more questions? And you have interference from a camera, which, okay. Someone's mic is on. Okay. Okay. Another question. How are we going to work with our coach? Each team will be contacted by their coach. That's why we need the addresses of all the students, so that I can give the coach this list of addresses. You won't be contacted before the 1st of October because that's the proper launch. So we'll have a launch session together on the 1st of October. And those who can actually be online at 3 o'clock on the 3rd of October, I can actually introduce the coaches live. Those who can't be online, we will record the session, and then you can see the face of your coach. And your coach will have a list of addresses for his or her team, and will get in contact with their team. So they will communicate individually with their teams. How many members should we have for each team? Well, initially we said 6 to 12 members per team. So I think we will keep it in that quite broad bracket, because depending on the institutions, there are more or fewer students. I think the smallest team is actually 5, but it may come up to 6 quite soon. And then most of the teams are about 10 people so far, from what I have. I mean, the information that I have so far, but some people have said they're still building on their list, and I hope the lists will come together in the next couple of days, and then we could start communicating with everybody, have one global list for everybody. So thanks, Jibril, for that question. Any more questions? Kristen has a question. No, no, or no questions at this point. Okay. In terms of any future questions, should I contact Jibril? Yes, Jibril is the point of contact, definitely. I think we'll open a forum system, um, uh, and we'll probably do so either on the Padlet or on a website. If the coaches open a blog or a website, we'll have a little forum system. I think a foreign system would be a good idea. We can't have it on Cursus, which is our usual foreign system, because we need to open it up to everybody, all the institutions, all the different universities. So uh, we need to, and that's also the job of the coaches. You know, I will be working together with Jibril and the coaches so that we come up with these various systems so that we can communicate more more effectively. Now, Rabiatu says, can we get information about the pre-test and post-test? And by the way, this is my opportunity to introduce Rabiatu to everybody. She is my PhD student working in Burkina Faso. And that is a subject that she and I will be working on specifically. Some teachers have said they want to use this as an opportunity to get their students to make progress in English, and they would actually want to test their students before the start of this challenge, and then after, at the end of the challenge, and measure their progression in terms of vocabulary and expressions, etc., related to the environment. So Rabiatu is going to help me put together a pre-test and a post-test. There is a glossary of terms in the PMOOC that we can use. And the Quizlet, well, actually, the slide that we're on at the moment, the Quizlet link, that is a link that has 176 flashcards. As I said, credit needs to be given to the Selva for that. They're the ones who have put this glossary together. So we will be putting a little test together. The coaches will be administering the tests, and but we won't actually be giving grades to students. We're just going to say uh, pass or fail. You know, do they get the credit, the ECT, the three ECTS, or not? It's a pass or fail system. It's not. It's not a specific grade. Now, if you want a specific grade, maybe the coaches can be involved in grading, but as I said, the coaches or master students, and you know, it's not necessarily their place to grade students, but simply to coach them. So that's why I said, you know, that we will have test systems into place. We can put self-correction systems into place as well. But as far as we're concerned, we're going to give a general, well, we're going to give each of the coaches are going to give feedback on the students. If they've done a self-correction, they might give a score, but they're not going to, you know, translate that into a grade. That's going to be the job of the various universities and partners if they want to do so. So I can see that Viera Pavlovicova agrees that the tests are a great idea. So I'm glad that we're putting that together. Other questions? No? Okay. Well, we did promise that this session would be brief, but I'm sure that you will have questions, you know, once you've allowed this to sink in. So if you do come back to us with questions, either by emailing Jibril direct, we will post his address on his email on the Padlet, or even better, if you can post your questions on the forum, which we will be indicating on the Padlet. It's not up yet. That's even better, then everybody can benefit from these questions. So yes, do ask questions later on. And thank you for joining us. And we wish you all a happy challenge. If you want Jibril's address straight away, he put it in the chat box, so you can cut and paste it into your um, um, mailboxes. And many of the emails will come from Jibril anyway. Some of them will come from me. Some of them will come from the voting system direct. You know, we can issue out emails from our voting system, and some of the questions and and all of the material will be posted on Padlet. Okay, thanks again. Have a very good day, and I will be sending you those recordings shortly as well. Bye-bye.